Here we go. Here we go. Ooh. Do I look like I just woke up in my clothes and went down and did some coaching and then did some, what do you call that stuff? Strength training. Strength training, yes. So, hey, good morning, everybody. It's been a while. It has, because I was traveling. I do the travel. And now I'm back home, and I am getting back in the swing of things. So that's why I'm doing this TikTok live. It's kind of funny. TikTok, I'm only walking. There we go. So I am walking home. Oops. Doing a TikTok live. I'm about 2/3 of the way. Good morning, Bobby. Nice to see you. I'm about 2/3 of the way home. But I thought instead of being late, and I saw, German Made 95. I just saw your icon there. And so yeah, I have a full hour of a TikTok live. As soon as I get home, I'll be here until 11 a.m. Eastern. But for the moment, I figured it was one of these things where I could be late or I could just start it while I'm walking. There we go. And thank you for welcoming me back. Glad to be back. Vacation is always fun. And coming home, the contrast is fun too. I did a lot of walking when I was doing my stuff. But I was away, but not a lot of stretchy stuff. So this was a good makeup. So very cool. Okay. Yep. Who else do we got here? We've got, nice, Kim and April. Spreading Sunshine. Gee, Schnauzler, nice to see you. Long time no see, huh? Yeah. Good morning, Spreading Sunshine. Happy Wednesday. Yes, thank you for reminding me it's a Wednesday. I'm a bit thrown off because I got home last night from traveling, and then I saw some of my Tuesday clients on Wednesday, because that's how I roll. But there we go. Okay, so Jennifer, thank you for missing me. But I want to encourage you. This is how I roll with coaching. I love to be helpful for people, but I will be honest with you. I think the most powerful thing in coaching, did you hear me just say that? So weird. I must have been in Delco for a minute. One of the coolest things about coaching is when I see people know that they can do it on their own. Kind of like, I don't know, maybe teaching somebody how to ride a bicycle or something. So it's nice to be missed. I'm glad to be back. There we go. Anne-Marie from Lancaster. I was just in Lancaster the other day. Lancaster, not Lancaster. Lancaster. Bobby is sitting in Tampa waiting for the hurricane. Yeah, if that's... yeah. Motivation to organize your stuff. Yeah, seriously? On a serious note, when something like that is coming, that's when you really get into sharp focus. What's the important stuff? What are the things that I really want to save versus I could always replace that if I was, shopping at Target. There we go. Very cool. Thought of me yesterday, clearing out clothes because I've lost weight. Hey, well, if weight loss was something you wanted to do, congratulations. That's awesome. I know myself when I walked down to my class this morning that I realized now it's not so apparent because I'm sweating because I did my strength training, but that I just take a breath here. I realized it's going to be long sleeve weather soon where I am. Yeah. And I love it. It feels good to make room, says Anne-Marie. So yeah, rock on. Yeah, sometimes we think having a lot of stuff around us, like a hug, will be feeling good. And sometimes it is, but then it can feel suffocating. When somebody hugs onto you too long and you're like, okay, this is awkward. Having space to breathe. I hear something backing up here across the street. But yes, noticing how good it feels to do it. To make the room. And notice what you're doing too. Like, I know I can't talk with my hands so much, but my hands are trying to get in on the act, is making space, literally. And sometimes the space is important. Maybe you don't want to fill the space with anything, but just having the space to do the stuff. Yeah, German Made finally got lower humidity this week. So happy for cooler weather. Yeah, I got to see, honestly, maybe you're like this too. I got to see what clothes I packed away last spring that are for this season. My long sleeves t-shirts and stuff like that. Now, this is part of decluttering too. Yeah, and organizing feels great. Yeah, it really does. Our brains tend to be happy when it's easy to do things. It takes less energy. And one of the ways you can make things easy is to organize things so that your brain just knows what to do with it. It's kind of like working, I always get this one wrong, working smarter, not harder. And I love it. Bobby is saying, I'm finding much happiness with more open space. Yeah. Yeah, you know why? Because your happiness gets to expand. So very cool. Very cool. Now I'm walking into the sunshine here. Let me see. What do we got? Yeah, alrighty. So hey, Kara got a new fridge, everybody. She was living out of a cooler for 5 days. Talk about contrast that makes you feel better with what you have, right? So getting a new fridge, awesome. And yeah, sometimes one of those things can make you declutter the kitchen. Yeah, sometimes like a little thing you have to do kind of is the really just the chipping away, the getting started thing, which is going to be so hard. There we go. Jen, yes, here I am. Boost of motivation. I will confide in you that yes, me walking and talking with doing a TikTok live is not something I do all the time. It's because I have a fear of paying too much attention to my phone and then slipping on like, one of those, what do you call them? Oak trees. Oh, hold on. I can picture it in my head. Give me some space here. Acorns, yeah. So I will settle down when I get home, but I love hearing everybody's wins because doesn't it feel good when you win? And don't you love also kind of cheering other people on? You know, Bobby's finding much happiness in her space. Yeah. Yay, Anne-Marie. Nice. Thanks for checking in. All right. I love this. Sia is saying, I took another donation load this weekend. This part I love. Not pressuring myself to do it all at once. Yes. How does that feel? You don't have to do it all at once. In fact, you probably shouldn't. Do it in a way that feels good to you, and you're more likely to show up and do it again. Case in point. Oh my God, I just came from a strength training class. Can you imagine if I tried to do a whole week's worth of strength training in one day? I'd be achy breaky. No. If anything, I probably was a little bit not too easy on myself. I was intentionally easy on myself today because I want to be able to go back to another class or even just walk tomorrow. When you do things too hard, your body and your nervous system has to catch up, you know, and your brain, if you don't watch your brain, it's going to tell you to do stuff that your body's like, whoa. I can't do that. Yeah. I love it. Very cool. Yes. And German May, thank you. Acorn. Acorn was the word I was using too. So Bobby says, you're a big help, inspiring me, teaching me, and motivating me. Well, thank you. That's why I show up doing these TikTok lives. I know this is kind of an awkward way to meet new people, but hey, this is me. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. And coach, again, where does that come from? And my coaching is called Destination Decluttered here on TikTok and YouTube and all those things. Now, I love it. Sia says, this is the best part, you guys. When you watch my TikTok live recordings, you will see that the best part for me anyways is always when I not get hit by a car, is always when people say it feels good. So Sia says it feels good, feels more intentional and not panicky with guilt and shame. Doesn't that just sound delightful? Look at me, I'm being intentional. I'm not panicking that I'm, home, almost home, but I'm not there yet. Being intentional, slowing down, appreciating things, and not feeling panicky or guilty. I mean, it was almost like we have Halloween coming up where we are. Well, I guess where everybody is. And like somebody holds out the thing for you. And hey, how goes it? Oh, we got a roofer on the roof of our house. Yay. All right, let me do this. Let me get into my house and my little officina and see what we can do. I will catch up on some of these things as soon as I get in the house. I'm going to just kind of rush along in here. Yay. And look forward to sitting down. I might see my hubs. Ho. I'm doing a TikTok live. Look, there's my husband. There he is. Where is he? He's there somewhere, doing the dishes. I saw Paul the roofer on the roof. All right, here we go. This is more like it. Okay, so thank you, Bobby. Thank you for being kind about saying even walking this way. And of course, then I want to sing something by Aerosmith. Yeah, you know what? Here's why I decided to. This is one of the reasons I decided to start my TikTok live as I was walking. And I will share this with you because it is, I try to use everything as a lesson for myself and for, you. I could have made a decision that I said, well, if I can't start at 10 o'clock, if it's not perfect, if I can't start right at 10 at my desk, I won't do it at all. Notice that perfection can be, as I like to say, a wolf. Perfection, this is so serious. Perfection is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay? Perfection makes you stop doing things that if you were feeling less perfect, then you would get started. So what did I do? First of all, I will be honest with you. I scheduled a strength training class because that is something I literally said to the teacher, kind of like a coach. If I did not sign up for these classes and pay for them, I would not be doing this. I have weights at home. Do I use them? No. But when I have paid for the class, walk down and take the class, I will do things that are good for me. And that little bit of time and investment pays off. Now, again, me being imperfect, I got started. I said, okay, well, I'll be about 2/3 of the way home. I can start my TikTok live. People know I'm a human, and boy, do I come across casual, right? Yeah, so Laura Gibbon Voorhees is saying, that's one of the things I struggle with, and honey, you are not alone. Waiting for the perfect time to do stuff. Here, you know what? What if we just replace perfect with good enough? Yes, April Snow says perfection is the enemy of progress. Notice it. Progress. You're moving forward. You're progressing, you know. But perfection, you're waiting for all the stars to align. No, I'm not saying don't be strategic about things, but if you find that your perfection is stopping you from starting to do the project, you're in kind of analysis paralysis. So this is why I will share with you right now. This is going to be, Laura Gibbon Voorhees says, whoops, a friend said that running 2 miles is better than no miles. Oh my gosh, yeah, me running a few feet. I do not like the bouncing of the boobs. I do not like I've never been a runner. That's okay. I will die not being a runner. That's also okay. But every little bit helps. If I had my mug right here, it would say every little bit helps on there. And I want you to think of that for freaking everything in your life. A little bit of vegetables is better than no vegetables at all. A little bit of stretching is better than no stretching at all. A little bit of decluttering while I'm here doing a TikTok live is better than no decluttering at all. Chunking it down. Yeah. Now, Rainbow Butterfly, you are not alone here. Rainbow Butterfly is saying, my mom made me feel like I had to be perfect all the time. I could never live up to her expectations. That's because perfection does not exist. And what happens is, and this is one of the few times I would say when I do a TikTok live, look at the screen if you can, okay? Because this is what I say, is that perfection is up here. Let's say you reach for like a perfect is 100, right? So you're aiming for 100, but let's say you only get like 100 things to give away, but you only, even the word only, but you give away 50 things, right? Now you're not going to typically be excited about the 50 you did. You're going to concentrate because our brains are wired this way, or it has been reinforced with other people in our lives that to accentuate the negative, to say, oh, well, you only did 50, but you're missing these 100, right? Let's say you did 75, okay, but you didn't get 100, you're going to focus on the stuff you didn't do. If you lower the bar, boop, I've lowered the bar. The bar is now at do 50, do half, but you've still done the 75. Suddenly you're a rock star because you have done more. It's the same amount of things that you did, but the way you look at it makes you feel good or feel crappy. Choose the one that makes you feel good, okay? Because feeling good is where it's at. Now, I don't know how good I will feel tomorrow when I try to get out of bed and I can't move because I just moved some muscles, but you know what? That temporary stiffness means that I was strengthening muscles that I didn't get to use. But speaking of muscles, I truly believe decluttering is a thing that gets better the more you do it. The easier it gets. Like working out with weights, right? Remember that one? Who was that? Rachel something something. Was she the one who married Rod Stewart? And they did those, was it Sports Illustrated VHS tapes? I don't know. I watched a lot of TV in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s and beyond, you know. So, Ocean Anna, nice to see you. So, decluttering. What is decluttering? To me, wicked simple. Wicked simple. Decluttering is getting rid of the stuff in your life, in your home, in your drawers, that doesn't do it for you anymore. Maybe it never did. Maybe you bought it and you immediately like, nope, this isn't going to work. Or maybe you used it for a while and now you don't use it anymore. That's okay. All of this stuff is okay. If you have too much stuff, that's totally okay. We live in a capitalist society that encourages you to buy things to make you happier. Hello, TikTok shop, you know. Decluttering is not. Decluttering is not getting rid of the stuff that's important to you. Now, here's a funny thing. Perfection is one of those like kind of superlative words I like to say, you know, kind of like all or nothing or all that every way and never and always, those kind of dramatic words, right? Because somebody inevitably will say, well, all of my stuff is important to me. And it may be. It may be. I do not judge you on what you decide is good and what you decide is crap, because I wouldn't want you coming to my house and telling me that because I think all my stuff is good. However, what decluttering helps you with is making decisions. Decluttering builds your decision-making strength. It gives you the opportunity to say, hey, here's something in my life. Do I still want it? It gives you the opportunity to touch base with who you are now and really who you want to be in the future. And the future is like, literally the future is now, man. Like, this is the future. And the past, you know, like the future can be at 10:30 this morning. That's the future right now because it's only 10:18 where I am. Now, I say this because sometimes people say, well, why declutter my house? Whatever. I don't care if it looks good, right? I don't care if my house looks messy. Whatever. That's other people. Okay, fair enough. I'm not going to force anybody to declutter. But what I will say is, when your house looks good to you, you're going to feel good. When your home functions well for you. What do I mean by function? Wicked easy. Easy to find something you're looking for. Quickly and easily finding things you're looking for. Being able to use that item because it works well. So, for example, you're looking for a pair of scissors. You know where they are, and then when you go to use them, they're nice and sharp. They're not all raggedy or bendy because they were the crap scissors. They're the, quote, good scissors. Anybody ever have the good scissors when you were growing up? You also then notice the scissors that are not good scissors, and you donate them or you throw them away or you give them to somebody else who has no scissors at all. So functioning well, and then putting your scissors back where they belong so you can get them there the next time. So when your house supports you, it makes it easier to live in it. You just have more time to do other cool stuff. That feels good. And then to me, the last but the best is always right here, is decluttering helps you feel good. Feel good about the decisions you're making. Feel good about standing up for who you are and what you want. Kara said, oh, I had good scissors, then I had kids. Yeah, well, you know what? Yes, I did not have kids, but we have multiple. And here's another thing. The scissors are a good thing. Yes, I was a kid. I think my mother was like, don't cut. What did I cut with the scissors? I think it was like tin foil, aluminum foil. But think of the scissors, okay? This is another thing with how decluttering, and the way I do it anyway, is let's pay attention to how you live. Let's pay attention to how your brain works. Now, I work with a lot of women primarily, but I'm not. I'll work with anybody who, you know, I feel like I can help and they pay me. I'll be honest. ADHD, how your brain is wired, is different from how other people's are wired. Don't be ashamed of that. Embrace it. It is your superpower. Setting up your home to support you and how your brain works makes it easier to live in it. Now, I followed once very early on in my coaching. I was seeing how other people were doing decluttering coaching. And somebody whose name I can't even remember at this point was like, only have one pair of, whatever, like one pair of scissors and always put them back in the same place. Now I was like, now wait a minute. That's not going to work for me. The putting them back where they belong, yes, I can do that. That is a really good thing. But I have scissors right here. I have scissors here at my desk. We have scissors in the bathroom because I like to, cut off the tags in my clothes. Again, that's probably ADHD thing. We have three pair of scissors in the kitchen. Two kind of junky pairs of like the orange handled Fiskars, and they're in actually Kara. You have collected old timey things, so you'll appreciate that. They're in like the top of like a cookie jar. It looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy, but it's not. It's McCoy, I think. I got it for a wedding gift from my other wedding, but I thought it was cool, so I kept it. I just realized too, I have scissors back here. The really good scissors that I like almost never wear because they are in my sewing kit. Now, I am setting up my house where it works for me. German maid hid your scissors. I hope you found them. But notice how you are wired. And maybe you are different than you were 1, 2, 4, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. That's okay. You are who you are now. Our body chemistry changes, our brains change. So who are you now? Who do you want to be? I think that's a really cool question. Because if you want to be somebody that you're currently not, that's okay. You can change yourself. You can start to change and be more of that person. Now, I know I have always been, I've had weak upper body strength. So I can make that better. Am I ever going to be as muscular as some other people? No. But that's not really want to drive it. So ask yourself when you are decluttering, does this thing in my house, this random thing, pick up anything, and it's like, does this help me live that life that I want to live? Or is it making it more difficult? And sometimes, excuse me, I'm going to have a piece of a cracker here because it looks so damn tempting. Sometimes you got to eat a piece of cracker. I don't know. I totally lost my train of thought. All right. So what do you think of that? Huh? Does that help? If it doesn't, hit me with a question. What's bugging you clutter-wise? What can I tell you? Clutter-wise for me, I have stuff all piled up on this desk right here because I just got back from traveling. But I take the time, I'm going to put my stuff back in my little travel thing, and I'm going to remember, too, the stuff that I wanted. Like, for example, I was in where was I? New Mexico this past weekend, and so dry that I wished I had some Vaseline for my nose. I used to have some in my travel kit. Now I don't. Or I didn't this weekend, but I realized I wanted it. So I'm going to write down, put that back there, But the neat thing is about decluttering, at least the way I look at it, and this is the way I teach it. Okay. I love it. Inertia is strong in this house. Yeah. You fill me with inertia. Inertia, that kind of not moving state. Yeah, but the new fridge has nudged us. Come on, you get a new dishwasher and vent. Notice that sometimes you just need a little, not a shove, but just a nudge. A little, look, oh, come on, you can do it. You can do it. So Melosa is saying, I have to start packing. My brain doesn't know where to start. Okay, so I notice your little emoji too. Let's start with your brain first. Start with your brain and calm down your nervous system. Everybody, this is what it's all about. Really in here. Up here makes you go, wow, I don't even know where to start. Throws your washing machine into a tiz and you freak out and it's hard to get stuff done. Calming down your nervous system. I could get into the science behind this, but when you are in a fight or flight mode, a certain part of your brain is doing the thinking. That's not the best thing for kind of long-term strategic thinking. That's get me out of trouble before I die type of thinking. When you're sometimes, very rarely in our lives, will that come in handy. What is really beneficial, though, is realizing, wait a minute, if I'm in that activated state, dysregulated state, as they say in the biz, I am not going to be able to make decisions that feel good. So you calm down your nervous system. You quiet down, you slow down, you talk nice to yourself. You know, my brain doesn't know where to start. I do know where to start. You know, I love it. Kara's saying, you know what, we're getting a new dishwasher. It was broken for a year and have had a vent. And we are making choices. I love it. We've had no stove vent. It's hard to get stuff for a mid-century modern house. Yes, sometimes these things take time. We have a roofer on our roof today. I'm telling you, it took him 6 months to get here. It's because our house is tiny. It's like a little dinky thing. It's not like some big mansion on the main line. So rightly so, he wants to make money, but he's here. Sometimes these things take time. It was a Smiths song. Come on, people. These things take time. I know that I'm the most inept that ever slept. Yay. Oceanana Nana is talking about Sunday's Zoom. And now I'm going to double check right here on my calendar because I was going to talk about that. So 2 things. For those of you who are just meeting me, my name is Beth, Decluttering Life Coach, Destination Decluttered. If you like what you're hearing on these TikTok lives, I do them quite often, except when I'm traveling. So you may not have seen me for the past 4 or 5 days, but for the next many days, many days, until we go away in a couple weeks again, I do these TikTok lives. I do them typically Monday through Friday, occasionally on the weekends, and typically between, 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern. Because I'm not much of a late night person, and I also do one-on-one coaching and consultations throughout the day. Now, if you're interested in knowing when I'm doing my TikTok lives, I know this sounds a bit like a commercial break, but so I'm going to make it one because I was looking at my calendar, is sign up for my mailing list. It's a free mailing list. I don't send out crap. I just send out good stuff. And one of the things Oceanana was saying was that Sunday is it? No, Saturday. Okay, so, no, I'm looking right here. Look at it. Sunday the 13th. Sunday the 13th, I am doing a decluttering party with anybody who wants to show up from my email mailing list. So this is like giving yourself an excuse. At noontime, from noon to about, 1:30 or 2 on Sunday. If you're interested in doing that, showing up, putting on your Zoom, you don't have to keep your camera on, but just having some camaraderie and some people that are also decluttering in the same vibe as you. That's happening on Sunday the 13th at 12 Eastern. So if you're interested in that, totally sign up. I am looking forward to it too. I don't know if I'm going to declutter myself or I'll just be available for people, but I will probably have some things here. I think I'm going to pull out some photographs because that's the level, that's how deep I am into like having done surface clutter, stored clutter, sentimental clutters where I'm at now. So I'll probably work on that myself. Yeah. See, so, and the neat thing is Oceanana, she's also trying to figure out which areas to work on Sunday during your Zoom. In the grand scheme of things, it kind of doesn't matter. Pick one that seems easy or pick one that seems hard. Pick one that you are going to feel good that you made some progress in. But just know that when you learn how to declutter one area of your home, you are using that same process to declutter your home, different areas of your home, your life, your car, your job, your brain. And a lot of it is calming down your nervous system. Trust too is a big one. I trust that when Sunday comes, and we're doing that, when Sunday comes, was that a song? No. When Black Friday comes, anyhow, I'm digressing all over the place. Trusting that when Sunday comes, whatever you work on is going to be beneficial. Doesn't that feel better? Oh, instead of, I don't know what to do. Yeah. Okay. So Gila Rio, this one's really interesting. So when I dive in, there's always an interruption. Someone needs a ride somewhere, etc. This is fascinating to me, and I freaking love this because this is also something that's related to decluttering and decision making is boundaries and habits. Boundaries and habits are things that allow us to get cluttered and stay that way or change that. So first of all, notice that notion of diving in. I want to dive in and I will get in the zone. That's what I call it, like in the zone. And then, of course, I think of Britney Spears for some reason. And then I think of AutoZone. And, not creating boundaries around your time. Kind of like, I remember once I took some coaching training and they talked about kind of the velvet rope. You know, if you've ever been at a show or, a nightclub or something, that it's like who gets in and who doesn't. And notice that there is always an interruption. Somebody is interrupting you. You are doing your thing. Somebody comes in and says, stop doing what you're doing and start doing what I want you to do. Now, sometimes we need to be interrupted. Sometimes there can be a legit emergency, but other times it's habit. It's habit for people to interrupt you, and then it's habit for you to respond to their interruption. You can also have the habit of putting on, what do I call it? Like kind of bumpers, boundaries. Say, I am busy. I say this to my husband. I am busy from 10 to 11. I'm going to be doing a TikTok live. Unless somebody has died or the house is on fire, please do not interrupt me. So notice that you can train people. But if you're also used to interrupting people, it's also scheduling. It's so fascinating to me. I love that. But Gila, what I would say is this. Start to tell people, hey, I'm working on this thing from 10 to 2. Scheduling. Scheduling is another thing. It puts boundaries around your time. I'm going to try to show you my schedule here, but I have cracker crumbs all over it. This is my schedule for the day. I've got some stuff blocked in, boundaries around a certain amount of time, and then there's other free time to do other stuff. So notice when you have the habit of allowing yourself to being interrupted, and know that you can change it. Yes, Friday I'm in love. Yes, thank you, April Snow. Yes, Friday I'm in love is Sunday. Yeah, I was thinking of Sunday morning. Okay, now this is really cool. So Rochelle is saying, I just decluttered my mom's sewing stuff, and it was hard. Maybe because your mom was a sewer. But I donated 2/3 of it because I'll never use it. Yeah, now I did that not with my mom's stuff because my mom is still alive, but when my mother-in-law passed away, she had a sewing box. And she had a lot of stuff because she did actually sew. I don't sew. I'm punk rock. I pretty much put things together with safety pins, as I have done since the 80s. But I do have like that little tiny yellow box over there has some things in it. Many of the things that I knew I wasn't going to use, I donated as well. It's okay to be who you are. It's okay to not be a sewer, and being real with yourself, Okay. So Sonia is saying, I have a little under 2 months before a family I haven't seen in years comes to visit. How do I start? You start with some strategy, okay? So let me help you with this, Sonia and everybody. Feel free to take notes because it's the same for everybody. I recommend always checking in with your head and your heart before you even start moving anything with your hands. What I mean with your head and your heart, I basically call that's my catchy way of talking about your nervous system, is you have a thought in your head that typically then causes you to feel a feeling. And based on what's going on up here, you're going to do something with your hand. If your brain is giving you unhelpful, stressed out sentences, oh my God, we barely have any time. I haven't seen them in forever. I don't even know how to start. You're going to notice your nervous system is going to be kind of in a panic mode, a little, overwhelmed, anxious, dysregulated. That energy right there, those words and that feeling, head and heart, isn't really a good place to start anything except for dealing with that, dealing with your anxiety. Now, how do you deal with it? What I like to say is I use this, and again, take notes, write my book for me so you have a copy of it. You get your own copy that makes sense to you. Is when I think of feeling kind of out of sorts and overwhelmed, basically, is what I think of. Is, oh my God, it's so much. I'm so overwhelmed. I think of the word overwhelm, and I notice that has the word over in it. And I tend to think, oh my gosh, when I'm looking at when I'm overwhelmed, I'm thinking too big, or I'm thinking too far into the future or into the past. I'm looking out there. What I want you to remember when you want to even start with anything, to calm down your nervous system, is just the word down. Okay? So think of this. Slowing down, sitting down, putting your feet down on the ground, breathing down into the bottom of your lungs, slowing down that breathing, slowing down the exhale, quieting down the backseat drivers in the back of your car. This to me is that constant chatter in the back. Shh, quiet down. Going to a quiet place. You know, when I do my TikTok lives, I shut the door. I keep it quiet. When you start to calm down your nervous system and tell you got this, it's all good. You're going to do fine. You've got, a little under 2 months is plenty of time. When you start to feel better, what you're going to realize is when you do this, you're shifting gears from one part of your brain that's in fight or flight and survival mode into, hey, we're not going to die right here, so now we can click on this other part of our brain that can be a lot more strategic and helpful, okay? So Sonia, when you are freaking out, but I have a little under 2 months before people, how do I start? Calming down your nervous system, then I would say with this, start with your destination in mind. This is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. It reminds me to where to start, and starting at the end. Now, again, this is something that guy from the 7 Habits of, Wicked Nice People or something said, start with the end in mind. But this helps you focus. This helps you know what you're aiming for. So ask yourself, in this feeling better state, well, what do I want my home to look like? Not perfect. Get perfect out of your idea. But what's like the bare minimum? What do I want it to look like when these people family I haven't seen in years, come to visit? And walk yourself through each room and take notes. Take notes. Literally, get a notebook. My 35-cent notebooks at Staples. Freaking love them. I take notes all the time. I have notes I don't even know. Write down those things. Kitchen. What are we going to use the kitchen for? When you write down a list of things to do, you're basically creating the way to get there. Well, I want the place to be cleared. Okay, clear off the dishes, whatever. You can do this. You can do this. But getting yourself in the right frame of mind, not trying to multitask, okay? I and you, my ADHD people. Multitasking creates more problems than it solves. Because it's like you're one of those fish with one eye going that way, or maybe you're like Marty Feldman. He's got Marty Feldman eyes. One eye's looking this way and one eye's looking that way. It's concentrate on the thing at hand. And it's not like you have to do that forever. There will be times, do not worry, my ADHD people, where fluttering around from flower to flower can be something you do. Yep. But focus on this. The focus is another habit and another muscle that you can build. When you focus, you have two eyes looking at one thing. You can better. Not like, oh, I'm kind of doing this, I'm kind of doing that. Each time you do that, you're doing it half-assed. There's one cheek over here and there's one cheek over there. Get your whole ass into it. I don't know. But seriously, calming down, quieting down, slowing down, sitting down. And maybe there's a time when you're like, I can't sit down, the song. And then you run around and do some stuff. But you will get more bang for your buck when you practice working with your brain, but also giving it opportunities to quiet down and focus. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Trixie is saying, people don't notice everything we notice. Strangers compliment my kitchen that has cracked cupboards and paint missing, molding, stained, and grout. Yeah. And, okay, so no, I do need a strategy. Yeah. Strategy is like a roadmap. Now, if you look behind me here, I've got these little 2 points here on the map. I've got like this little dot right here that's like you're on a map, and then you've got the little heart here. This, again, is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. Think of everything you do as a road trip. You're going from point A to point P, from Pennsylvania to Palm Springs, all right? Destination Kitchen Declutter. When you look around your kitchen that there are certain things that bug you about it, clutter-wise. Never mind like remodeling. That's a whole different thing. I just deal with clutter. I want you to stay there in your kitchen and don't judge yourself. Don't judge yourself, but just write those things down. As if you had, like, I Dream of Jeannie, she could just, tinkle. No, actually, that was Bewitched. She could just blink her eyes and do it. If you could give a list to somebody else to deal with all that stuff, make the list. And then give it to yourself and do it. Now, Trixie says, now it's so hard to let imperfection go. Everything's imperfect. The world is imperfect. Embrace your imperfections. That's what makes you you know? Oh, excuse me. You said cracked cupboards, and it made me think of this little cracker. Yes. Ocean Anna says, I call it walking into a room with a fresh eye. Yeah, with fresh eyes, clearing off your glasses. Makes you seem, see things you don't normally see. I came home from traveling last night. It was dark. I didn't see a lot, but now I'm going to look at my own house through fresh eyes. Now, I did some dusting last week, so I hope it kept. But our brains, again, I go back to the brain and habits and things like that, because decluttering is a lot deeper and more interesting than just making it look like Pottery Barn catalog. Okay? Your brain has a lot to do. Take it easy on yourself. Take it easy on your brain. Make it easy for you to live in your house. And one of the things that your brain does for a survival mode, by Milton Bradley, is it almost puts on blinders. Ever see those like old-timey, currier knives where they have, weather outside is frightful, let it snow, and they're in the little sleigh ride, Leroy Neumann, whatever. And the horses have blinders on. That's so they don't get freaked out by things and distracted. They keep their eyes on the straight and narrow. Putting blinders on helps you focus, helps your brain not deal with all this other stuff around you. And sometimes that is a survival mechanism. But sometimes when you take the blinders off, this is when you're going to realize the stuff that's around you, and you can make a decision. Does it bug me or not? Do I like it or not? And you have the power. I got the power. You have the power to make a decision, and that decision, to me anyway, should be the decision that makes you feel better. That's what I say. I was talking to a client this morning, and I said, you have the ability to tell yourself any story, to create any words in your head. You populate your head with words. Now, you have the unhelpful ones that come unbidden, but you can quiet them down, and replace them with more helpful ones, the ones that make you feel better. Choose the words in your life strategically, and you will change your life. Instead of beating yourself up, you're going to be cheering yourself on. Instead of lamenting about how things were in the past, you acknowledge it, you learn from it, and then you say, I want to do something different for myself and for my family moving forward, and you do something different. Do not become hostage to just the automatic words that show up in your mind. This is the biggest, coolest thing I think I love about coaching. It's because I was able to figure this out with coaching and, all that stuff. And when you change your words, you can change your life. It's as cool as that, I love it. Sia says, this last week I started using the can I live without it thinking that I learned from you. I love it. And letting